You've seen it 1,000 times. You're reaching for a bundle of spinach, and the whole display suddenly erupts in a fine, cool mist. Maybe you even heard a little roll of fake thunder a second before it happened. But have you ever wondered why it's really there? Is it keeping the vegetables fresh? Is it just for show? Or is it the thing the internet loves to claim, a sneaky trick to make tired produce look fresh so you'll spend more? Well, the truth is stranger than any of those. Because one of those explanations is real science. One is a myth that fooled millions of people, and the actual reason the mist exists is something that, in 2026, dragged several grocery chains into a legal settlement. Welcome to Breakdowns, the story behind everything. Today, we're unraveling the science, the myth, and the secret hiding inside that cloud of water over your vegetables. To understand the mist, you first have to understand what happens to a vegetable the moment it is picked. It does not just sit there, it keeps breathing, and it keeps doing something called transpiration, quietly leaking water into the air through its surface. Out in the field, the roots replace that water instantly. But on a grocery shelf, nothing does. So from the second of harvest, an invisible clock starts ticking, and leafy greens are merciless about it. According to a 2015 analysis from the Post-Harvest Education Foundation, lettuce and spinach begin to visibly wilt after losing just 3 to 5% of their water. 3%. That is the entire difference between a crisp, sellable head of romaine and a limp one nobody touches. In 1979, a produce market owner named Jack Corrigan patented the very first automatic misting system. His idea was simple, and it was genuinely scientific. Replace the lost humidity and you slow the wilting. It worked so well that today, industry estimates put these systems in roughly 70 to 80% of American grocery stores. But that is only half the story. Because there is that other explanation, the one you have definitely heard, that the mist is all a manipulation. And here's where it gets interesting. That claim traces back to a single marketing book published in 2011, which called the mist a bogus symbol of freshness. It sounds damning. There's just one problem. The book cited no study. None. When you actually go hunting for the famous research that supposedly proved misting makes shoppers buy more, it simply isn't there. Scientists have studied how shiny produce looks fresher, but no one ever tested the mist itself, and no one ever measured what people actually bought. The proven scam turns out to be the one part of this story nobody ever proved. But before you decide the water is totally harmless, it isn't. Because misting only helps the right vegetables. Spray the wrong ones: onions, garlic, mushrooms, potatoes, tomatoes, and you do not preserve them. You rot them faster. Back in 1999, Penn State produce expert Pete Ferretti warned that some items should never be misted at all, and water that pools and sits does not keep things fresh, it grows bacteria. Done carelessly, the freshness machine becomes a spoilage machine. And that finally brings us to the part nobody saw coming. Because the real twist was never about whether they spray water on your food. It was about what they dissolved into it. In May of 2026, the Texas Attorney General announced a settlement with grocery chains over a product called Produce Max, a synthetic antimicrobial pesticide that had been mixed straight into the misting water at thousands of stores to kill bacteria. The catch? It was being sprayed onto produce labeled organic, and the shoppers buying it had no idea. The settlement forced those chains to stop and to rinse the organic produce afterward. So the question was never really, am I paying for a little extra water weight? The question all along was, what exactly settled onto your vegetables inside that cool, refreshing cloud? So the next time the thunder rumbles and the mist comes down, you will know the truth is layered. The water itself is real science, quietly buying that lettuce a few more hours of life. The famous scam is mostly just a legend that got repeated until it sounded true. And the thing genuinely worth noticing was never the water at all, but what someone, somewhere decided to put inside it. And that's the story behind everything at Breakdowns, where the most ordinary things hide the strangest secrets. If you enjoyed the hidden story behind this one, hit like, share it with someone who'll never look at the produce aisle the same way, and subscribe to Breakdowns for more. Thanks for watching, and see you next time.